In the meantime, we are less than a week away from what should hopefully be a blockbuster Europa League final between Manchester United and Spurs, live on talkSPORT from Bilbao.
Will the season to forget end up with a final to remember for Manchester United?
Tottenham's Premier League season continues to plumb new depths.
Nothing is going to save our season, but this can be huge.
I feel like it could be a turning point in terms of the way the club is perceived, but also more how it perceives itself.
It's cup football. It's all about who's in the final.
Dominic Solanke applied the finishing touch to send Tottenham into the Europa League final.
I'm not scared of going to play Manchester United.
We've got to go there and get it done, do the business.
I'll be totally honest, I'm not even really bothered about the Champions League side. For me, it's just getting a trophy.
Mount! Oh, it is brilliant! What a way to seal it!
For both teams, massively important.
I would make United favourites based on the fact they've got a group of players who tend to turn up on the biggest stage.
Bruno Fernandes stepping up just when his side needed it.
Absolutely massive game for the fans of both Manchester United and Spurs. England will have a sixth representative in next season's Champions League, but who will it be? After the dross that was served up by both teams this season, that's why I said the word blockbuster slightly reservedly, to be perfectly honest, because if it's anything like at least the last game between the two sides, it won't be rather entertaining, but hopefully they both show up in the best version of themselves for a really important game. We will, of course, have it live for you here on talkSPORT. We're going to get to the Manchester United callers in a few moments' time, but Jermaine, quickly to ask you, who is this final bigger for, and which manager in particular do you think it's bigger for?
I think it's bigger for Ange, because if this doesn't go his way, then I think he's going to get the sack. I think this is make or break for him. As a team, look, United are serial winners. They've won multiple, trophies, major trophies, European trophies. For Spurs, their cabinet's dusty. It's got cobwebs in there. It's empty, and there's a lot riding on this. So for me, I think this is bigger for Spurs, because it'd just be another laughing kind of stock, as not there we go, get to an final, don't win it, not win again. It's for me, it's more bigger for Spurs.
Okay, all right. You can have your say on it here on talkSPORT. 03717 223344. Which team needs to win the Europa League more, Spurs or Manchester United? Let's get to your calls. Josh is a Manchester United fan. Good evening.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Good. Should Ruben Amorim, let's start there, should he be under more pressure?
Well, I wouldn't say that under more pressure. I would say that it's a big deal for Spurs to win this trophy and win this final. But also, you've got to look about the financial fair play and the money that's in it for United to win, because we owe about £90 million in the summer for players that we've already bought, like Onana. I think Casemiro, we still owe some money for him, and we owe some money for Anthony. So to win this would enable us to be able to have a better purse to go into the market and strengthen the team for next season.
I think that goes the same for Spurs, though. They're cash straps. They're with the rules. They need to be able to get money, injection of money to actually buy.
The only difference is I think Manchester United have the outlay of a team that has to be in the Champions League, where Spurs financially aren't spending at the same level, as Josh points out.
I think another point on that, Daniel Levy's obviously a very shrewd operator in the market, and he doesn't tend to spend loads, but the players that he gets in, obviously he gets good deals for him, and he gets what he wants out of him. At the minute, for United, obviously we haven't seen too much of the new ownership model bringing in players that have actually made a difference. So it'd be interesting for me to see what happens, and for everyone to see what happens, obviously in the summer, if United can obviously get enough money about them to be able to buy the players that they want to bring in. And obviously you've got the young lad that's come in on at left back, Dorgu. I don't really think he's a first team player for me, to be honest.
Same. Josh, thank you very much for your call. Appreciate it. Just lost you there at the end, getting us started on this one. Kahal, who's on the line, Manchester United fan. Good evening.
Hello, you all right?
Hello, mate.
Very well indeed. What's your view on Ruben Amorim? Should he be under more pressure?
To be totally honest with you, I think the standards at the club have never been lower. The fact that there's some fans that are justifying Man United finishing 17th is a bit of a shambles, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think everyone involved in United know that this is a shambles. but they've just at this point just written off the season. I've just accepted it. Look, we're where we are. I've accepted it and hoping that there's going to be better days and there's a start by next season.
The thing is, though, you heard him earlier, Ruben Amorim, talking about standards. You can't write games off then if you've got big standards, high standards at a club like Man United.
I feel like Amorim's doing all these interviews every week with Sky and all these other platforms, and he's sort of repeating the same things. And then when you look at the fixtures and the league position, it's really bad.
I would have expected.
And I think,
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think other Man United managers who I've wanted sacked, likes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mourinho and Ten Hag, have been sacked for way less. For example, we sacked Louis van Gaal after winning an FA Cup final and finishing 5th, and half of this fan base was screaming for Ten Hag to stay last year after our worst ever league position and winning the FA Cup. And we're sort of in the same predicament now with Amorim. If he wins the Europa League, does he stay or go? I think, it's just an...
I think having those conversations, stay or go, though. He's been in the job since November. What's that, 5-6 months? So
But what I'd say is, and I know what the outcome of the Europa League final, I think, doesn't change this. On the basis of what you've seen from Ruben Amorim's Manchester United, this idea that you just go out and cherry-pick players for his formation that have to fit into this formation alone. Oh, we need people that can play narrow wingers who can play. He's not getting any of that. He has not shown anywhere near enough. He's going to get the players, versatile players, hopefully, who can play in a number of positions. Yes, fine, absolutely. But I think if you want people who are just attacking wing-backs but can't play full-back defensively, no, I'm sorry. We need people that can do both. Like Manchester United have to be thinking really about the prospects of this guy not being their manager as we get to next year. That is a realistic prospect.
No, it just came in. You can't bring a manager in November.
Are you telling me that if we get to Christmas, Man United are 15th, he's going to stay in the job?
Well, if in the summer he's brought in a handful of players and nothing's changing, then okay, and he's got a lot of deadwood out and some fresh legs in, then potentially, yeah. But you can't... You had Ten Hag. He had a different style of player, different formation, same outcome. You've got a new manager in, new style, different philosophy, same outcome. There comes a point when you go, right, it doesn't matter who we get in. We can get Pep, we can get Klopp, we can get Slot. But with these bunch of players, this is where we are, unfortunately. We've only got 2-3 players who are world class at the minute. The rest are not good enough to be a Manchester United top 4 player. Until you get better players, you're going to have the same argument. It doesn't matter who you get in.
It's incredibly worrying signs if you brought in a manager who's so highly rated and he can't get the team into the top half of the Premier League.
Well, if you
can't tell me you would keep
players, if you haven't got the players to do that, it doesn't matter who you get. You could get Lord Jesus Christ.
They do have the players to finish in the top half because these players have finished in the top half forever. Every season they've been at Man United, they've been in the top half. You can't tell me they're not good enough to finish in the top half. The evidence is there.
No, obviously they're good enough to finish top half, but we're talking about where Man United should be.
No, I'm not saying sack him for not being in the Champions League. But like I said, if he's 15th, 13th, 14th, 15th...
Next season, yes. If he's and we
get to January, he's not going to be in a job,
okay, I agree with that. But I said you've got to at least give him to the summer, get the new players in, get rid of some new players, and then take it from there.
Massive game. Well, I'll ask you after the break who you think's going to win that game. Up next, European football expert Kev Hatchard will join us to discuss what may be the biggest bottle job in European football this season. Ajax poised to throw away the Eredivisie title after being 9 points clear in mid-April. We'll discuss that straight after this.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.